Alright guys, so today's currently October 14th, 2024. I just took a trade on NASDAQ and my voice might seem a little bit off because I am pretty sick right now. But yeah, let's just get into it. So basically today I traded on my live account. That's because clearly from last week, as you guys know, I don't have a funded account anymore. But I have been thinking about moving towards futures. And wait, I'm actually just realizing this now. I was on the E-mini NASDAQ futures chart while trading on my live account. I was wondering why it was a bit different, because I wasn't using this chart. Oops, but it is, I mean, it's basically the same thing, right? So yeah, we made $52.98 today, but overall we're still down like 300 USD. I definitely did miss out on quite a bit of profit. I think I missed out on like another $30 because this was my initial TP, but I was just like, this is my live account, I'm just aiming for low-hanging fruit, right? But yeah, let's just get into it. So this trade starts on the 1 hour time frame, and as you can see, price swept this previous high over here on the hourly. And usually when this happens, I look for some kind of retracement lower, or at least a retracement into like some kind of equilibrium, right? So that was the plan. As you can see here, if you draw a fib from the bottom to the top, equilibrium is at this hourly fair value gap right here, right? So I'm looking for price to continue lower, but I had to wait for some kind of confluence, right? So let's move to the 15-minute. Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say about the 15-minute, but price definitely swept all these previous resting buy side, right? There was no news today, so I honestly don't really know why price did this, but let's see here. I didn't really use the 15-minute chart this time, but I'll show you guys. I mainly stuck with the 1 minute, and that was because this is what I saw. So basically, this bottom right here to the top, we have equilibrium marked right here, and then this was I believe a 5-minute fair value gap right over here. So this is a 5-minute fair value gap, right? So I'm looking for price to draw lower, right? But first I needed a break of structure, right? So here, price broke structure lower. Honestly, I don't really know if you'd actually consider this a break of structure, but I'd say like a strong movement down, which is what we got. I think the break of structure could have used a little bit more displacement in terms of a stronger price move lower, right? With a solid candle down, but regardless, I took this trade. Yeah, so we swept previous hourly highs. I waited for a break of structure lower, and honestly, at this point, I was a bit skeptical about price because we retraced into this fair value gap and we started rejecting off of it, right? And we also started to reject off of equilibrium. So when I did set this entry right over here, there was a very tiny 1 minute fair value gap resting right here. When we did start to reject off this area, I did have like certain doubts, right? But I was just thinking about the overall higher time frame. So that was what helped me get through this kind of pullback, right? So basically, price pulled back into this tiny 1 minute fair value gap, and that's when I set my order. And yeah, I mean, we honestly just consolidated here for the most part, and I was gonna target this, but like the risk to reward wasn't even a 1-to-1, so I just decided to target this right here, the swing low. Like I said earlier, my initial TP was here, but I honestly didn't want to risk it. As you can see in hindsight, I could have taken a partial right here and then let the rest run to this area, but I'm completely fine with how the trade turned out. Like I said, we made like 51 USD, so I think I mean, I could potentially just withdraw that and then go and purchase a I'm thinking of going into futures, right? So I was thinking about buying a Top Step account. So yeah, I mean, that's what I probably will do. But yeah, I mean, overall, this trade wasn't too bad. Honestly, I probably should have waited for a higher time frame, displacement lower, because as you can see here, on the high time frame, this wasn't anything, right? Like, this was not a breaker structure at all. This is a clear breaker structure. So now we can look for a potential retracement higher to continue lower, right? But we'll see. Anyways, though, but like, we already took our trade. It was a winner. I'll take it, right? So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next trade. All right, guys. So today is currently October 16th, 2024. Sorry if my voice sounds a bit rough. I'm still sick. But as you can see, I actually bought a 50K combine from Top Step, and honestly, I've been liking futures quite a bit. It feels a lot cleaner than the Forex side for sure. I did take a couple trades, as you can see over here, and I did do a trade recap on these trades previously, but the footage wasn't working, so I'm just gonna redo them again. Hopefully I could remember some of the trades that I did take, because honestly, there's a bunch here that I definitely made a mistake, because I actually set up hotkeys for for entering and exiting trades, and I'd accidentally pressed the wrong button, which would add on to a position when I wanted to actually take off. So that happened to me, I think, like 3 times already. So for this first trade, we went in 5 contracts, 5 micros. And I believe, yeah, we took a long position. I know for this trade, this was the first trade in, right? So I was getting used to how much each contract was in terms of how comfortable I am with risking 5 contracts. And literally once we went up, I just closed the trade pretty early. Had I just left it, I would have made around 118, but I just decided to take it off early. I do not honestly, like, I do not remember where I took this trade. That one was just a test run, as you can see. So for the next 2 trades right here, or I guess the next 3, these trades, it was taken on this day right here. It was actually horrendous. Basically, the whole idea was that initially going into the markets, I was thinking that price could potentially sweep this previous low right here and then continue higher, but as you can see, price just continued lower, right? And so I saw a higher time frame fair value gap, which is the hourly, and we also had SMTs at the bottom right here. So I thought that this was a potential for a reversal, right? So I decided to enter a long position, and honestly, it went well until it didn't. I should have waited for a clear breaker structure, but I think this time I actually went into the 15-second chart and I took a trade, like in the 15-second chart. We got stopped out immediately, and that resulted in a pretty big loss. And that's when I realized like 5 contracts might be a bit much for me, but I think it honestly depends on where price is currently at in the range. So yeah, we took a quick loss right over there. And sorry, let me take a look. And then I believe I actually I re-entered again. I guess, I mean, this was just left on my chart. I guess it was this trade right here. I don't think there was actually like a real reason for an entry. I just took it. I was tilted. Yeah, so that went horribly, right? We took like a $300 something loss, like more than 300, basically. $400 loss, like right off the bat, right? Horrendous stuff. So right off the bat, we're taking quite a few hits on this challenge. All right, and so I believe the next one was this $87 loss, which I did take this morning. Basically, price was at this area right here, right? We broke structure lower. However, when we were at this area right here, let's just go back to the 1 minute. I'll close this. Basically, I initially thought that price could potentially go up into this fair value gap right over here to continue lower. But once price started to, break higher, break a structure higher, retrace into this fair value gap to continue higher, I decided to change my bias, right? So this was the initial bias to go lower, because here we even had a break a structure on the 5 minute to go down. But as price continued higher, I was like, okay, we're breaking structure higher, and I'm looking for price to continue higher to take out this buy side, right? So I ended up changing my bias to go long, something like this. As you can see, price quickly displaced lower, and we just got stopped out. We took a $87 loss. Honestly, that wasn't too bad. I think I actually did manage my risk on that one like decently. Actually, how many contracts was that? Yeah, that was 3 contracts. And then, as you can see, for the next 3 trades right over here, I ended up taking the trades right over here. I saw price literally just displace higher, and I just took an entry because I was like, okay, we have resting buy side up here. I literally just took the entry to continue higher. So I was in 4 contracts, and then I took partials right over here. So I literally took partials, price retraced lower, and I moved my stop loss into profit. So basically here I entered around this area, price came up, and then I think I took like 3 contracts off. Oh, I'm so confused. I'm so lost. Oh my god. Basically, I took partials and left 1 contract running, and I moved my stop loss to break even. Basically, that was that. I mean, it was a winning trade. I'll take it. All right, so as for the last trade we took this morning in the New York session, basically I saw this as a break a structure lower. There was a fair value gap right over here. This is the 5 minute fair value gap, and within it is the 1 minute fair value gap. I ended up taking short position right over here. I believe it was, how many was it? I think I took 3 contracts short in this place, right? And this is one of the trades where I messed up on the order, because I had hotkeys, right? I was in profit, I think around like $200 something, and I wanted to exit 2 contracts, right? And instead of exiting 2 contracts, I added another 2 onto the position, and I was just like, I gotta quickly clear this out, right? So I quickly sold, and I ended up leaving 1 contract, and the entry on that 1 contract was so bad, price started to reverse on us, and that's when I took a $50 loss, right here. I took these 2 losses just because I misclicked the hotkey. Oh my god. You know what? It is what it is. I'm honestly having I'm having a good time with futures. I'm very much enjoying this. And yeah, it feels like a breath of fresh air. I know a lot of you guys have been telling me to move to futures, and honestly, you guys were absolutely right. This recap was pretty messy, but that's because I was all over the place. I honestly don't really remember the exact entries and exits that I took for the previous trades. But I know they were somewhere along the lines of this, right? So I know, but I just know this really massive loss, this big loss over here, I honestly don't know why I even took those trades. Well, actually, I did know. I had a higher time frame, fair value gap, and SMTs. So I was looking for the reversal, but we never got it. Anyways, guys, I will catch you in the next trade. So, yeah. All right, guys. So today is currently October 18th, 2024. And I ended up taking a trade after the 10 to 11 a.m. session. And it resulted in a win. It was, I think, like $225. And that does not take into account the... is it the commission or the fees? It's the fees. But yeah, let's just get into it. So basically, if we look at the 1 hour time frame, at this point, I'm looking for price to continue higher, right? We come all the way down here, we redirect off this hourly fair value gap, and price slowly continues higher, right? So we're currently on the buy side of the curve. We had a displacement, break a structure higher, created a fair value gap, retrace into this to continue higher. So, like I said earlier, I believe price is going higher, right? Let's move to the 15 minute. Here we do have a 15-minute fair value gap. And the first two trades right over here, I did miss. So we're on the 15-minute. Basically, we have a break of structure. Price comes up. We continue lower and we reject off this fair value gap and this fair value gap right over here. All right, guys. So we are on the 1 minute chart. And as you can see here, we have two other opportunities that I did not take. But I marked it out just because I wanted to write this down for future references. Basically, we had a displacement higher. We broke structure right over here, created a fair value gap. Price retraced lower and then continued higher. And our TP would have been at this high right here, right? And when we did retrace, it was into the 15-minute fair value gap that did not get mitigated on the 15-minute time frame, right? So that was a trade I thought had some decent potential. And like I'd honestly put these stops at this low. So the risk of reward isn't great, but I'll definitely, reduce the risk if price does continue higher, right? Like ideally it'd be honestly at the bottom of the 15-minute fair value gap, but that would have stopped us out. So I'd say right here. And so for the second trade, it would have been taken outside of the 10 to 11 a.m. session. But basically, we had SMTs at the bottom right here. So here we have NASDAQ. And then we have ES right over here. SMTs. All right. And basically, we had SMTs in a higher time frame fair value gap, which is pretty high probability for a reversal. So I believe there was also a 1 hour fair value gap. Yeah, so we have the 15-minute and within it we do have the 1 hour. So I thought that was a pretty good potential entry. I actually missed it, which sucks, but it is what it is. And risk to reward was all right. I'll definitely take a 1 to 2 any day. The entry would have been on the 1 minute time frame. Basically, we have SMTs in a higher time frame fair value gap, and this would be the confirmation for a reversal, right? And then we have the entry, which is the swing high gets displaced, and then we create a 5-minute fair value gap. Price retraces in this 5-minute fair value gap, and then we continue higher. I am usually a bit picky with my fair value gap entries, but I do know most people just like put it at the top of the fair value gap right here, but I like to place mine at the bottom. As you can see, we wouldn't have gone entered into the trade, but its idea is still there, right? People who do use the top part for their entry of the fair value gap, they would have gone entered into the trade and they would have taken a win, right? But the trade I actually took was this trade right over here. Basically, I was like, this did kind of scare me a little bit, but basically we had a sweep of this high right here, continued all the way down, right? Now, initially, I thought we could have had a potential entry back at this 5-minute fair value gap. So the initial trade was this right here, right? But I had to leave to go to work soon, like when I did place this trade. So I ended up actually closing the trade. Basically, I took this trade because we were in the 15-minute fair value gap, and it was at a price where I'd like to take the trade. It was in discount. At this point, just based off the higher time frame, I think we're going higher. So that's why I honestly just set the, I did a market order actually on this entry. Like, there was not much to it in terms of the entry. And actually, I think I entered like right over here somewhere. When I entered the trade on Top Step, I had a like automatic $200 stop loss, right? I was definitely adjusting it. And at first, I went to TradingView to, place this indicator on to see what the risk to reward would be like. And so I placed it here, right? And so here was the TP, this fair value gap right over here. And the stop loss was this low right here. I set an alert here and it got triggered, right? When I saw that notification pop up, I was not at the charts at the time. I saw it pop up and I was like, damn, I just lost $200 just like that. And then I start to see price reverse. I get like kind of bummed out, right? And then after I actually come back to the charts and I realized my stop loss was actually placed all the way down here. So this trade was literally like a 1-to-1, which makes sense actually, or a little bit higher than 1-to-1, which this makes sense. But I was like surprised that I didn't actually get stopped out. I was still in the trade and price went up to my take profit. So that was definitely a pleasant surprise. And yeah, I mean, I guess I'll show you guys the Top Step now. Right over here. This trade right here we took today, $225 profit minus the $2.22 for the fees. So yeah, that'll be all for this trade. Alright guys, so that'll be all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. This week was definitely a shorter week. We didn't take too many trades, but we took one trade on the live account and the rest were on a new Top Step account. And we did start off pretty rough, but we eventually climbed back up. So yeah, I mean, we ended this week positive and I'll 100% take that. Please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And there's also a link in the description for a free Discord server where a bunch of new traders can help each other out. And I hope we can learn from each other. But even if we don't, I think it's nice to have I think it's nice to be in a community where there are people on a similar journey as you. And yeah, I mean, that'll be all for now. Just remember to stick to the plan, discipline yourself. Not that I have done much lately, but you know what? That's why we're all growing, right? So yeah, that'll be all. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.